I've seen nothing but good things about this show, and I've seen how popular it's been for the last few years. I'm glad to say that I'm finally caught up on The Bear, and I just finished season 4 a little bit ago. I love this show very much. I love how uncomfortably honest it is, and how intimately well you get to know the character. You get to know all the characters so closely that you really just feel like you're there. You feel like it's such a fly on the wall type of show. That last episode of season 4 was so interesting. How it's just like I know that a lot of people say that the first 2 seasons and the seasons 3 and 4 are like way different, as far as the first few seasons are really about the restaurant, and then seasons 3 and 4 go way more into the quiet moments with the characters, and the characters kind of living with them, like dealing with themselves, dealing with their own shit, dealing with the how much is on their minds. I love that stuff, though. I love how the last episode of season 4, it was like basically the whole thing was just a conversation. It was lovely. I love that stuff personally, though, and I love I love just dialogue driven acting stuff. So I don't, I also feel like they're probably not trying to give their viewers a fucking heart attack with how stressful the first 2 seasons were. When I was watching this first one, I was like, I have to really be in the right mood to watch this shit, because it was a lot. It was a lot with the sensory overload in certain moments, at least. It wasn't, and that's very well done, though. That's exactly how it feels working in a restaurant. I've worked multiple serving jobs myself. I've worked in a handful of restaurants throughout my 20s. I did, at least, and yeah, that's exactly how it can feel working in that environment. Obviously, I am so into these types of shows that just really let the actors do their thing and give so much to the story, but it doesn't. I like that it doesn't feel like it needs to rush anything, and it just, I think the reason seasons 3 and 4 feel so different is because it's just them like trying to make sure that they can keep the restaurant open, and that's what's funny about it, is the dread of kind of having to kind of wait and see what happens, and see what, that's so relatable with anybody that has a passion for something and they're investing themselves in it. I mean, I relate to that so much, like investing yourself into something and just hoping that it all works out in the end, or hoping that you'll get a bit, not even a big break from it, but that you'll excel in some way and succeed. That hunger for success is just all you feel for the characters, or the fact that they need to succeed because of how much debt that they're in, and how it's like there's no other option for them, and then that's crazy. I relate to Carm so much, as far as having so much having a lot of dedication for just one specific thing. All he is dedicated to is being a chef. All he does, he's fucking drawing pictures of the dishes that he has in his mind. He's absolutely obsessed with it. It's how I feel as a musician songwriter, as a singer songwriter, and a guitar player. I've dedicated a lot of my life to just the guitar and writing songs, and it consumes you. You can see like it's spoiler alert. I guess now I have to throw spoilers in the thing, but when you see that he but in the end of season 4, when he decides to leave the restaurant, or he wants to leave it, and he says that he doesn't love it anymore, or that he doesn't feel the way that he just doesn't want to do it anymore. I don't feel that way about music, but I feel that's how I felt about walking away from being a live musician and performing live shows. I used to love it a lot, and it gets to a point where you just don't want to do it anymore. You're not even burnt out on something, but you want to like when he said I think he says at some point at the end of the finale, that he doesn't know who he is outside of the kitchen. That's exactly how I've been saying that to myself a lot lately with music, and I have no idea who I am outside of being a musician. So I'm just is this watching this show at the specific time that I'm watching it right now is so fucking eerie because of how much I relate to Carm just in that specific way, as far as having that passion for something and that drive for something, and then kind of also not even losing your love for it, but your interest in it changes is all. When he makes the meal for his mom in the second to last episode of season 4, and he's giving it to her, like he's giving her the plate or whatever. I felt a moment of wow, he wanted to make that meal for her, and maybe that was what made him realize that he didn't want to do it, do that for a living anymore, or be in the kitchen slaving away in a restaurant for just as his occupation. What I mean is, like, he might have felt something different in making that meal for his mom because he wanted to make it for her, as opposed to everything else that the bear is kind of requiring of him as a creative, and as like all the stress that he puts on himself at the bear versus actually just wanting to make his mom a meal because he feels he owes her, not owes her that, but he feels that he just wants to. That's his way of showing her that he loves her. That's how I personally feel with playing music for like friends, or playing music at like just a party when hanging with people. There's so much more joy in like wanting to play music for people instead of having it as an obligation and having to play music for people out at a bar or restaurant or party or whatever, like a private event or whatever the hell. So speaking of his mom, Jamie Lee Curtis, what a fucking, oh my god, Jamie Lee Curtis's acting in this show is insanely fucking good. It's some of the best acting I've seen of her entire career, to be honest. And I would say it's like I don't know if anybody's talking about that enough, but it just shows how much she can really bring to the table in terms of acting. And she is definitely like a genre actress and has done all sorts of movies, and that's awesome. I love Jamie Lee Curtis and just about anything I've seen her in, to be honest. But it's great to see her doing something that's like, I mean, I was like kind of scared. Like, I was so uncomfortable anytime she's on screen. I literally, the whole show, the whole fucking series, anytime Jamie Lee Curtis, especially the Christmas episode of season 2, the whole if I remember correctly, I think that was season 2. The whole series, Jamie Lee Curtis. I've known so many people like that. I've known a lot of people like that throughout my whole life, and met a lot of people like that just through others and whatever, through just living life. Just living life. You just meet all sorts of people, and that shit is so fucking real. And she pulls it off. I mean, she had to have had a family member like that, or has to have had to have known someone that was like that, because she is scarily accurate, insanely accurate to her performance is the epitome of like what that archetype is, like that type of person. She just absolutely knocks it out of the fucking park. The scene where Shug is giving birth, or the whole episode where she's giving birth to her baby, and Jamie Lee Curtis is just telling her stories and kind of helping her take her mind off of the pregnancy, the going through labor. She's trying to help take her mind off of that, and she's just talking to her daughter, and it's just so lovely. I love those quiet moments that the actors have together, and how honest a lot of it feels, and it almost feels like, I literally felt like almost like a voyeur watching that shit, like the whole show, or like you feel like you're just watching actual people, and yet there's nothing but like cameos from all these famous actors that we can't not see them as the actors. But like the bear is in its own kind of it's in its own world of quality, and all those actors are they bring so much. John Bernthal is Michael, like, oh my fucking god, like every single person in the show is so solid in their portrayals of the characters. Not a single, I don't dislike any character. even the ones that like, even the characters that are kind of annoying or kind of like, all right, whatever, like, the ones that you don't take as seriously, you still like them or you like seeing them on screen. When I say Jamie Lee Curtis, I was scared of her. Like, I still like seeing her, but her character, but she's just, that like, unpredictable kind of person. You don't know what's gonna happen. You feel like shit's gonna hit the fan every time you see her on screen, and then it's lovely to see her as she's sober, because she's sober by the end of season 4. It's great to see her kind of trying to get better, trying to be better, and that was like such a lovely moment as well when she says all the things that she wants to Carm and like apologizes to him, and they have like a lovely moment. It's just really intimate. The show is on like a surface level, or like on the first few seasons you assume it's like, oh my god, all these people are fucking crazy and mean to each other and fucking. All of that, this whole situation is just like fucked up. Why are they doing it? Why are they dealing with it? And all of a sudden, you see that like unbelievable closeness that they have. That closeness that most people don't have from their own families. And there is something real about that for sure, as far as restaurant life or when you're in some sort of workspace like that where you're around the same people very often, and it's so there's so much like you need to be a team. Those people 100% become like a family, and it's crazy. It's crazy to see how fucking hateful Richie and Sydney are to each other in the beginning, and being really fucked up to each other, saying a lot of fucked up things. And then all of a sudden they're like so close by the end, and she's helping him like not throw up when he's going to his ex-wife's fucking wedding and shit to this new guy. Josh Hartnett's character is just like a perfect like nice dude. Anyway. There's so much to unpack with this show. There's so much to talk about. I could talk about so much, but I really can't make this video. I don't want to make any... I'm trying to like not make these videos so long so that maybe they're more clickable or maybe people actually want to watch them. And I talk fast enough that I feel like I could say a lot within a certain amount of time. And anyway, yeah. This show, I love every season. I love the chaotic first few seasons, and then I love the quiet, more toned down... toned down aspect of seasons 3 and 4. I really don't see, you don't see that a lot in movies or TV as much as I don't see that as much as I'd like to, at least is just an acting scene where I love that they let the silence breathe. There's so much there are a lot of times where I have to like not play stuff back, but the it'll be quiet for a long enough time that I'll feel like I'm like wondering if I missed something, or I have to like make sure, like I'm just that kind of viewer though, that especially if I'm watching something by myself, I'll play it back and make sure I get every bit of what they're saying. But there's a lot of silence. There are a lot of moments where the characters don't sound so perfectly well spoken, and that made me feel a lot more comfortable with how I make these videos, because I feel so self-conscious with how I can sound, or how I might not know what I'm trying to say sometimes. And then there are moments, where the characters sound like they sound like me. I feel like, or I sound like them, or whatever. Where they use a lot of using the word like and whatever. A lot of those in between words, whatever, and literally the word whatever. The fact that they're not so well spoken and there's all this silence, it's just so authentic to how people actually are. It's the most like, I just love like realism in storytelling, or if it is like very fictional, and if it's not realistic at all, like the plot and the whole story itself, like has to be very enriching. That's all. But I love realism in storytelling so much, because I love anything that doesn't want to shy away from how life really is, and that's what this show is a voice for people that are that work those types of jobs, that how fucking hard it is to own a business in this specific time right now, in this specific economy. It's so relatable. It's so relatable. The ultimate fucking gamble, and just hoping that their restaurant actually makes it or succeeds is something that just feels so. I don't want to say it feels so American, but it feels so It's very relatable for the general working class man, general working class person who doesn't any individual that's just working hard and doing their best and trying to get where they want to be in life. That's what this show feels like. It's shining a light on and pointing out. It feels like it's a voice for a lot of people that are kind of alone and feeling like no one understands what they're going through. That this show really points out how being dedicated to something, having ambition, having that drive for something can just be a double-edged sword. You end up taking on this whole responsibility for yourself, or this whole when you have to like hit a certain mark financially or from a numbers standpoint, when numbers really drive someone like myself who's focused way too much on numbers and especially numbers online or whatever, when that's such a defining aspect of whether you succeed or not, or whether your gamble that you've taken is actually going to work out or not. I mean, it's every single person who's been a business owner or knows exactly what it's like to invest in something that you're really passionate about and ambitious about, and taking that risk. That's what The Bear is, and that's what it was for me. And I'm super grateful that the show exists, and I just wish that there were more shows like that. I would love to make a show like this for musicians, because I don't think, especially for like gigging musicians or people that work just all sorts of jobs in the music industry. I would seriously love to make something that's as honest and authentic to musicians as this show is to chefs and working in restaurants. So yeah, The Bear, one of the greatest shows I've seen in recent years, and I can't wait for season 5 to come out.